In the heart of a bustling metropolis, a renowned sleep disorder research center stood as a beacon of hope for those plagued by nocturnal disturbances. Dr. Adrian Holt, the center's leading expert, was celebrated for his groundbreaking work in the field. Yet unbeknownst to his colleagues, Adrian was battling his own demons, ones that emerged only in the dead of night. Adrian's nights were increasingly haunted by vivid nightmares, each more terrifying than the last. In these dreams, a demonic figure with twisted horns and a malevolent gaze stalked him relentlessly. This creature, a nightmarish embodiment of fear, seemed to feed on his terror, growing more powerful with each passing night. The boundary between dreams and reality began to blur for Adrian. Objects from his nightmares appeared in his waking world, and he often woke up with unexplainable scratches and bruises. His colleagues noticed his growing fatigue and concern, but Adrian remained silent, fearing they would deem him unstable. As the nightmares intensified, Adrian delved into ancient texts and obscure research, desperate for answers. He stumbled upon legends of dream demons, entities that could traverse the dreamscape into the physical realm, latching onto the psyche of the tormented. Determined to confront his demon, Adrian prepared a risky experiment to trap it. He set up an array of sensors and cameras in his bedroom, hoping to capture evidence of the entity's existence, or at the very least, to understand its nature. As night enveloped the city, Adrian initiated his experiment. Cameras and sensors surrounded his bed, creating a high-tech barrier between him and the encroaching darkness. Despite his scientific prowess, a primitive fear gnawed at his resolve, anticipating the inevitable arrival of the horned demon in his dreams. That night, the dream was different. Adrian found himself in a decrepit, seemingly endless corridor, the walls adorned with grotesque paintings that seemed to shift and writhe in the dim light. The air was thick with a sense of dread, and the distant sound of hooves echoed through the hall. He pressed on, driven by a mixture of fear and determination. Each step took him deeper into the nightmarish landscape, and the oppressive atmosphere weighed heavily on his senses. Suddenly, a shrill scream pierced the silence, jolting Adrian to his core. Turning a corner, he came face to face with the demon. Its twisted horns scraped the ceiling, and its eyes burned with a malevolent fire. Paralyzed with fear, Adrian realized that this was no ordinary dream. He was trapped in a realm created by the demon itself. The creature spoke in a voice that was both thunderous and whispering, revealing that it was born from Adrian's own fears and insecurities. It taunted him, saying that as long as he feared, it would exist, growing ever stronger. Adrian's heart raced as he faced this revelation, understanding the true nature of his adversary. In the wake of the nightmarish revelation, Adrian awoke in a cold sweat. The dream had felt disturbingly real, and the demon's words echoed in his mind. He reviewed the night's recordings, but they showed only him, sleeping restlessly. The demon was absent, a phantom of his subconscious. Despite the lack of physical evidence, Adrian was more determined than ever to confront his fear. He realized that the demon was a manifestation of his own psyche, a twisted representation of his deepest anxieties and insecurities. It was a battle he had to fight from within. He began a rigorous routine of meditation and self-reflection, seeking to understand the roots of his fear. Old memories surfaced: a troubled childhood, the loss of a loved one, the relentless pressure of his career. Each memory was a thread in the tapestry of his terror. Meanwhile, the demon continued to haunt his dreams. But Adrian noticed a change. The more he understood his fears, the less menacing the demon became. It was as if by acknowledging his inner demons, he was diminishing their power over him. One night, in a dream, Adrian found himself in an old, abandoned theater. The demon was there, but it was different, smaller, less frightening. Adrian confronted it, not with fear but with acceptance. He recognized that it was a part of him, a manifestation of his own mind. With each passing night, Adrian's control over his dreams grew stronger. He no longer feared the demon. Instead, he challenged it, transforming the dreamscape with his will. The demon, once a symbol of terror, now seemed more like a lost, angry child. Adrian's journey into his subconscious revealed much about his inner world. He encountered representations of his past achievements, his failures, and his unfulfilled aspirations. Each encounter was a step towards healing, a step away from the fear that had fueled the demon. One night, the dream took him to a place that resembled his childhood home. Memories flooded back, some painful, some joyful. In this familiar setting, Adrian confronted the root of his fears, his struggle with self-worth and the pressure to succeed. In the dream, the demon appeared again, but this time it was different. It looked smaller, less threatening, almost pitiable. Adrian approached it with compassion, understanding that it was an integral part of his being, a manifestation of his own inner turmoil. As Adrian embraced the demon, it began to dissolve, transforming into a myriad of light particles. It was a symbolic release of his fears, a cathartic moment of liberation. For the first time in years, Adrian felt a profound sense of peace. The morning after his profound dream, Adrian awoke feeling different. The weight that had oppressed his heart for so long had lifted. He looked around his room, half expecting the remnants of the demon, but there was only peaceful silence. At work, his colleagues noticed a change in him. He was more present, more engaged. His research took on a new direction, focusing on the psychological aspects of sleep disorders. Adrian began to share his experience, albeit in scientific terms, helping others confront their fears. Nights were no longer a battleground, but a canvas for his imagination. He explored dreamscapes of incredible beauty and complexity, free from the shadow of the demon. His sleep was restful, his dreams inspiring. Adrian's story spread within the academic community, sparking interest in the power of the subconscious mind. He became an advocate for mental health, emphasizing the importance of facing one's fears and insecurities. The demon never returned, but Adrian knew it was still a part of him, a reminder of his human vulnerability and the strength that comes from understanding oneself. He smiled, looking forward to a future of exploration, both in the waking world and in the realm of dreams.